This is the story of Estíbaliz Carranza, a woman who became known as the Ice Lady. She cultivated an image of being submissive and kind. Its facade hid a chilling reality of violence and murder. Her crimes were ultimately brought to light by a mundane plumbing problem. A blockage in the building's drainage system led to the discovery. A plumber was called to the scene. He traced the issue to the basement of the building. In the basement, the plumber found a door secured with a padlock. This seemed unusual and suspicious. A neighbor assisted the plumber. Together, they managed to break open the locked door. Inside the room, they were met with a horrific sight and smell. 2 large refrigerators were found, emitting a nauseating odor. Upon opening the refrigerators, the gruesome truth was revealed. Decomposing human remains were discovered inside. The authorities were immediately notified. Police arrived quickly and sealed off the entire area. Estíbaliz Carranza was the owner of the ice cream shop located on the ground floor of the building. She had vanished. A manhunt ensued for Carranza. She was apprehended 3 days later in Italy. She was taken into custody and accused of heinous crimes. The charges were for the murder and dismemberment of 2 men. Her seemingly kind and submissive public appearance stood in stark contrast. It was a shocking contradiction to the brutal actions she had committed. Please like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Estíbaliz Carranza was born Coitzargui Estíbaliz Carranza Zavala. Her birth took place on September 6, 1978, in Mexico City. Her father was a Mexican writer. Her mother was of Spanish origin. When she was 5 years old, her family relocated. They moved from Mexico to Spain, settling in Barcelona. She pursued higher education in Barcelona. Her field of study was economics. Her childhood was reportedly difficult. She described her father as tyrannical and controlling. This oppressive environment fostered dark thoughts. She developed childhood fantasies involving violence directed towards her father. She later reflected on her upbringing. Carranza claimed they were stifled and suppressed. She stated that they weren't allowed to excel. She also felt they weren't allowed to exist under his rule. Carranza remained single throughout her youth. She did not have a relationship until she attended college. During her time at university, she dated a classmate. This relationship lasted for 5 years. The college relationship came to an abrupt end. It concluded shortly after their graduation. Following the breakup, she decided to leave Spain. She moved to Germany, initially living in Munich. She later relocated within Germany. She settled in the city of Nuremberg. It was in Nuremberg that she met her first husband. His name was Holger Holz, and he worked as a refrigerator salesman. Their relationship progressed, and they married. Estíbaliz Carranza and Holger Holz wed in 2002. The couple decided to move to Austria. They settled in Vienna. In Vienna, they embarked on a business venture together. They opened an ice cream shop named Schleckeria. However, their marriage deteriorated significantly. Carranza described it as becoming abusive. She reported suffering physical, psychological, and financial abuse. Holz allegedly controlled many aspects of her life. Carranza outwardly maintained a submissive role in the marriage. Internally, however, she harbored resentment and dark thoughts. She began to develop fantasies of revenge against her husband. These thoughts grew increasingly intense. The couple separated in 2007. Despite the separation, Holz continued to live in their shared home. Carranza claimed Holz blackmailed her. He allegedly used threats to maintain control and remain in the residence. The situation escalated dramatically on April 27, 2008. Estíbaliz Carranza murdered Holger Holz. She shot him multiple times. The shooting occurred in their shared home. Following the murder, she took horrific steps. She dismembered Holz's body using a chainsaw. She then attempted to conceal the remains. Parts were stored in freezers, while others were encased in cement. To explain Holz's sudden disappearance, she fabricated a story. She told people he had joined a cult in India. Sometime after Holz's murder, she began a new relationship. She became involved with Manfred Hinterberger. This relationship also proved problematic. Hinterberger was reportedly unfaithful to her. He also allegedly pressured her about her appearance. This added further strain to the relationship. Carranza felt increasingly trapped in this new relationship. The dynamics mirrored some of the control she had experienced before. Tragically, the pattern of violence repeated itself. On November 21st, 2010, she murdered Manfred Hinterberger. She shot him 4 times. The killing took place in the same location as the first murder. Again, she proceeded to dismember the body. She used a chainsaw for this purpose. The parts of Hinterberger's body were also concealed. She stored them in the basement area. To account for Hinterberger's absence, she created another lie. She claimed he had gone to Thailand. Despite these hidden atrocities, she continued living her life. She even started a new relationship. She became pregnant with her new partner's child. This was shortly before her crimes were discovered and she was arrested. Following her arrest in Italy, she was extradited. She was sent to Austria to face justice. She was formally charged with 2 counts of murder. The charges related to the deaths of Holger Holtz and Manfred Hinterberger. During the legal process, she underwent psychological evaluation. Experts diagnosed her with multiple personality disorders. These included narcissism, dependency, and histrionics. The diagnoses painted a complex psychological profile. The experts also issued a grave warning. They stated there was a high risk of her reoffending. A forensic psychiatrist offered a chilling assessment. He suggested that murder had become the simplest solution for her problems. Her trial commenced on November 19, 2012. It garnered significant media attention. The press quickly dubbed her the Ice Lady, or Ice Lady. This nickname reflected the coldness of her crimes and her business. The prosecution presented their case forcefully. They described her actions as displaying unique coldness and cruelty. During the trial proceedings, Carranza spoke. She expressed remorse for her actions. She stated, "I'm so sorry," addressing the court and the victims' families. The jury ultimately found her guilty. She was convicted of both murders. The verdict specified the nature of the crimes. They were committed with malice aforethought, malicious intent, and in a terrifying manner. She received a severe sentence. She was sentenced to life in prison. Additionally, due to her psychological state, she was committed to a mental institution. This was to run concurrently with her prison sentence. Carranza appealed the verdict and sentence. However, her appeal was dismissed. The sentence was upheld in March 2013. She began serving her time. Even while incarcerated, she remained a media figure. Her story continued to fascinate the public. She authored a book from prison. Titled My 2 Lives, it became a bestseller. The book contained disturbing details. It included chilling confessions about her actions and motivations. In her book, she offered her own explanation for the murders. She claimed her partners had fundamentally changed her. She wrote that they transformed her into a beast. This was her justification for the horrific violence she inflicted.